So I felt like your interview with Adam 22 was very telling. Like, you did not seem happy at all, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It seemed like you was getting ready to quit right on air. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it back. I never watched any of my interviews back, but maybe.
You said you actually realized that you liked working behind the scenes and that you didn't really care about being on radio. You even said that you would be okay just being a manager for an artist and that you didn't like the industry politics and like the way that you spoke about it, it was just like, man, like you could just tell. Like, I don't know, like the time was gonna come or what, you know?
I mean, I was feeling it because like when I first got on air, I was ecstatic, bro. I was like, wow, like I'm finally part of the crew and like we're gonna do some shit. And I saw a lot of people fade and like I really, if I could go back in time, I wouldn't have done anything different. But like I'll tell you, bro, I would have been way happier staying friends with these guys, having great relationships with them and being behind the scenes. And I think that's a fucked up way to think because a lot of the people that put that status of like who they're friends with and who they have access to over what makes them feel good, it's bad. But you know, when I didn't feel good doing radio because I'm like I'll tell you right now, if I had to come to this real estate office and sell buildings in a suit every day, I wouldn't be happy here. You know, if I had to fucking work at Sleepy's in a suit 11-hour days, like I wasn't happy, bro. But like if you told me I had to work 18 hours with somebody who I enjoy their company, it like doesn't faze me. I'm the happiest guy in the world. So it's like my whole thought of Hot 97 was like, bro, you work hard. One day you could be on a radio station. It would be incredible. Like, what a dream come true. Like, you know, and when I first went to the station with Rosenberg, like to be in these rooms and these studios where like the biggest artists in the world, to sit in chairs that Jay-Z and Snoop and Nas and all these people that I looked up to sat in, I was like such a happy guy. And slowly over time, seeing that these friendships were fake, seeing that certain people didn't care about the city but just about themselves, you know, that kind of just started weighing on me really heavy because I was really there because I love the city and I love the station. And like I can't stress that enough. Like I never took a penny to play a song. I never took bookings at the clubs. I wasn't a kid that liked the club, so I didn't go. Like I didn't do it for money. I did it because I love this city and I grew up running around it like crazy. And I felt like every little pocket, whether it's my cousin doing hair in Astoria or kids in the trenches in Brooklyn, everybody deserves to have an opportunity to be part of what this station represented. And I didn't see that everybody else shared that vision. It was a lot of people trying to just build their followings and their egos and their attentions. And it started to weigh on me real heavy, bro. And I'm like, I'm not going to be the guy that compromises. Like, I'll never be the guy that's like, well, they're all taking money. I might as well take money. I'd rather be the guy that like is poor as shit, but could talk his shit, you know? And here we are.
Right. So would you say though, like that you wanted more of a sense of like community, but then like everybody was out like for themselves?
Yeah, I wanted to feel like we're here doing something, being effective. Look at the station, bro. Like, I don't have to say shit. Look at where Hot 97 is right now. Look at where it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. The only reason Hot 97 was ever on the map is because Funk Flex loved Cold Crush and played that shit. Funk Flex loved Spinning the Tunnel, went hard. It wasn't because they were just playing the shit that was streaming and that was charting. It was because they were putting people on to music and representing for their communities. And they lost that somewhere. And
so
I didn't want to be part
gone.
of it. Passion is completely gone in a lot of aspects. It became a passion for getting a following as opposed to a passion for like music and community.
Would you say that you went in it like expecting, you know, everybody to like almost like you had the truth like shown to you, like what it's really like behind the scenes, that like, you know, because when you grow up as a hip hop fan, you just thinking, oh, it's really this way. But then when you really get to see the business for what it is, it's like it disappoints a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, I had worked at Sleepy's for a while. I saw how a corporate business was run, and I understand there is some compromise. It was more so like, you know, like I'll give you an example in real estate, right? I could call a lady and she could ask me, what's my building worth? And I could just tell her, if it's $1 million building, I could be like, I could tell her it's worth $1 million, or I could tell her it's worth 600,000. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell her it's worth $1 million because I want to be a fair guy and I don't want bad karma. And I think it's a good way to do business and it could lead to more business. But if I'm the guy that says it's worth 600,000, now I make 400,000. She gets her 6, but then when she finds out I sold it for $1 million, she's going to be like, I'm never working with you again.
Right.
So it was like more people prioritizing these short-term wins, these quick looks that got like, it was like, how can we book an artist that's going to get us a lot of clicks this week? It wasn't like, we love what this guy's doing and they need to come in. It was, this artist could be bubbling, but they're not willing to come to my club. They're not willing to come do an appearance for me. We're not supporting them. But we'll support, these artists that they have a little song and they're willing to pull up. And I started watching that, you'll see an artist have a little run with a song and they do the clubs and then the DJ just discards them. And then there's another artist and they have a little run with a song and then they do the clubs and then a DJ discards them. And I just watched like 3 or 4 artists just get discarded by DJs straight up. And I don't want to say these artists because I don't want them to feel the ways, but like in private conversations, they know who they are. And I have a great rapport with them. And I felt like, it's fucked up. Like, why are you going to the hood, pulling this kid out of the hood, playing their song, doing all this shit, making a shit ton of money with them in the hood, and then the song starts getting stale and you don't support any more of their music because now there's another kid you play that same game with. And I was just like, it fucking kills the city because you're just pumping people who are willing to throw money in the club and not pumping artists. And New York is becoming a disposable culture. And we saw it happen, bro. We watched it happen for years and years where it's like, I mean, you can name it. What's the big hit right now? Last year we had every day it was like Sexy Red on the radio. I'm sure it's somebody else now. Now they're doing it with Kyle Rich and that Henny record, whatever. It's like these artists, they build them the fuck up and then they just throw them away and then another one comes. And they don't do that everywhere, bro. Atlanta got behind Future. Like, Florida got behind Khaled and, LA got behind Kendrick. In New York, when somebody gets behind an artist, it's like, well, she don't write her own shit. Or they didn't, and it's like, no, it's not that. It's they're not coming to the club with you because they want to build a career outside of New York. And I didn't like it for the city. I didn't like it at all.
So it was like
city.
No long-term investment, like investing in the artist, investing in our own, basically.
I'm going to say names straight up. And if these people want to call me out, they can. It was like, you remember Fresher had a record, Wait a Minute?
Right.
It was like, wait a minute. Blew it up, went crazy, dropping bombs, going crazy on it. Starts sloping. Then it's like Young M.A. Ooh, that goes for a little bit. Slopes off. Then it's like Casanova. Slopes off. Then it's 6ix9ine. Slopes off. And it was just like one after another that was just getting like exploited with club runs, bro. And I'm just like, all right, like, and not for nothing with respect to all those artists. And I think they're all talented and all have other records. There's so many artists that have like hits. And bro, it's like, okay, well, why are you blasting this song but not playing like this Juice WRLD record or this Uzi record? And they didn't support it, bro, at all. And then I'm like, I'm playing the Uzi record. I'm playing the Juice WRLD record. It starts kind of going. Rosenberg's playing it. It starts kind of going. And now all of a sudden it's like, yo, we've been behind this since day one. And I'm just like, bro, y'all ain't supporting shit. Y'all just running with whatever's hot and you're not setting the tone. You're riding the wave. And I don't respect it. And as somebody who was going out every night really in these streets at all these events and going to showcases and open mics, and I'm like, bro, there's so much talent out here and y'all just playing this game. And these kids are like coming to me like, yo, how do I get on the radio? And I'm like, well, you kind of just have to book one of these DJs for a club appearance and pay them 5-10 grand. And for as long as you could do that, you'll get your record spun. Like,
that's crazy.
But then the DJs be like, well, I don't take money to spin records. Like, yeah, they're not paying you to spin the record. They're paying you to come DJ their party. And because you're DJing their party, now you're spin. Like,
Semantics.
It's just it's a racket. And I didn't like it. and I didn't do my shit like that, and it cost me a ton of money because I wouldn't just let people. I turned down interviews with 6ix9ine, bro. I'm like, I don't support it. I don't like it. This energy is off. The music is great, but this kid's wild, and I don't want it around me. I didn't get millions of views. Like, I was really a man of principle and a man of my word, and I did what was in my opinion, best for the culture of New York City. So it's like when I'm seeing these guys that I look up to that built careers on doing things like that, and now they're doing things the opposite way. I understand you got bills now, you're older, you got homes, you have cars, you have a certain appearance to keep up, but it's like that's not why I got into this industry, and that's not hip hop, and it's just like I don't respect it. And once I lost respect, it's like that's it. Now we competing.
That's hard though, bro. Like it's hard to be real as you're talking about in an industry that is so fake though.
Yeah, bro, I had a lot of pain, man. I've had a lot of frustration and pain and stress over this fucking music industry. And you know, again, it's I signed up to be like, you know, I say with real estate is everybody wants to sell buildings, nobody wants to call 100 people a day. You know, nobody wants to get on the phone and be calling people all day every day, but everybody wants that check for 100 grand after they sell a building. And it's like, I got into the music industry because I wanted to hammer the phones. I didn't get in there for the check. And, you know, I'm hammering the phones, and y'all got in here because you wanted to hammer the phones and play the music. But now the check came, and it's like, well, how can I get more of those with doing less of that? And it's just like at a point, like even if I stayed on radio, even if I kept doing a show, even if I found success in it, I would have never been the dude that was like 35, 40 years old playing the new shit. I wouldn't have been on the radio right now bumping Yeet. I might have bumped him in the car, but like there's new kids coming up that deserve that. Like, you know, like big up Zach Baez out here fucking, you know, these kids are in their 20s and that's their generation, their culture, and their listeners. They're not my listeners. I might appreciate the music, but I'm not going to the Kyle Rich party. You know what I'm saying? I'm too old for that shit now. Honestly. And it's like, and it's my responsibility to find the kid that is going to that party and going into work the next morning and seeing a community to get them in a position where they could relay that information because I'm not going out to get it. So somebody else needs to come be on the radio and be like, I was in the Kyle Rich shit last night. It was a movie. It was this and that. Instead of me being in there like yo, this the Kyle Rich party was all that. You know, it's like these kids talking different. They look different. They sound different. You gotta have that. The community deserves it. The city deserves it. They don't deserve some guy coming on like, you heard that new Lil Uzi Vert? It was slapping. It was awesome. Like it's just you gotta appreciate your culture and your generation and evolve with grace.
Right.